Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste. Welcome to another episode on our YouTube channel. I am joined here by none other than Sebastian Garcia. I can't even do this introduction. I have so much to thank for him. You guys are going to know why in a couple of moments. But Seba, thank you for joining me. I love it. I love that you're here. I love that the first. I say guest, but you're more than welcome to be here anytime. So thank you for joining.
Thank you, Roy. Hello, everyone. I had to be here. Obviously, I needed to be here. It's such a thrill to see how long we've known each other, how long we've been together without even knowing each other in person. We didn't have that chance yet, but we've known each other since more than maybe 15 years. You will recall it better than me because I'm old, but but this this Mundo Albiceleste thing started almost by chance. Um, if you remember the early days, we can go down memory lane and talk a little bit about it if you want.
Uh,
But it's
yeah, it was. Well, you started it on. It was Google Blogspot, I think. I think it was
But
Google
before
Blogspot.
that, yeah, it actually started before that. I was living in Italy. I remember it was Winter Olympics in Torino, 2006. And around the time that the games were about to finish, I saw on soccernet.com, that they're part of ESPN, they were looking for correspondents for every national team that was going to play the World Cup in Germany that summer, that in June. And so I said, okay, yeah, why not? I'll send a story. They wanted everybody to send like an example of a sample of our writing skills, and yeah, I got selected. I don't know if anybody else applied but me, but I don't even want to know. But they selected me, and then I said, okay, let's do this. And I started writing about the national team, and the editor said, yeah, you're doing great. But I had no way of knowing, because that was a blog without a chat room, without a comment section. It was really old time. And he said, why don't you create an email address and put it there in the next story that you write, and see the reaction from people? And I was like, nobody will write. I mean, nobody's reading this. I was thinking, not being modest, but I was. It was all new. It was. I didn't see any other media outlets, writing about specifically about the national team of Argentine football in English. And I knew there was something, because I know that the national team, uh, thanks to Diego Maradona in the first place, but then obviously with Messi, with all the greatest, the great teams that we had, I knew that there was a big following in Asia, in Africa. But as soon as I created that email address and I put it there, within 1 hour, I got emails from 5 different countries, people from 5 different countries. And to me, it was like, oh my God, what is this? And we started from there. And then after the World Cup, during the World Cup, there was a lot of movement there. There was a lot of comments. I got a lot of emails. And then I said, yeah, why don't we open Mundo Albiceleste on Blogspot? And it started from there. And that's where you and I met
Yeah,
a few months
I
later. Yeah.
I met you, or I started commenting on the blog. I remember it was after the World Cup. It was after the World Cup specifically. I remember it was a friendly match, Argentina versus Algeria. And I was watching the match. I was watching the match because the match was played in Barcelona. So the time difference, I remember I had skipped class. I was at home. I wanted to watch the match. And as I was watching the match, I remember being halftime, and I didn't know who the substitutes were. I had no clue. And I was looking online, and I'm just typing everything on Google and Yahoo at the time and everything. And then I found the blog. I think at the time it was Vamos Vamos, right? It was Vamos Vamos
Vamos,
Argentina.
vamos Argentina. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I clicked it and I saw it was up to date, and you had comments at the time. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is cool. 'Cause this is
Yeah.
very cool. And it was from there I started following, and I remember you were posting a lot, like it was constant updates, one thing after another. And that was in May 2007.
Yeah,
May
yeah.
2007, and then obviously there was Copa America, and
And then the
then there
Youth
was
World Cup came along.
then the Youth
Yeah,
World Cup,
the
the
Youth
under
World
20
Cup
in
came along.
Canada.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In Canada, and but that I don't remember. I don't remember if I sent you. I think I sent you an email saying, "Hi Seba, I'm going to the Argentina versus I went Argentina and North Korea. I think I told you I'm going to a match. I could
Yeah.
have pictures or something. I think you said yeah, and so I'm very. I always tease you about this, but I was the first correspondent for for you.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. How old were you back then? I mean, I was
I
almost
was
30.
17.
May, yeah,
I was
May
17.
2017. Oh my God.
I was 17. Yeah,
That was
I was.
yeah. And then it started from there. Then life obviously presents you with different challenges. Then I had a couple of jobs where I couldn't do anything but that job, so I couldn't write updates. Then I had kids, and every year that went on, I had less time to write. But I always follow. Obviously, I always follow the national team, and I always follow what you do. So yeah, I think this is a really full circle. And when I
Yeah.
saw that this idea of having a YouTube channel, and I said, okay, I have to be here. I have to. I hope I don't ruin it with my ugly face, but I have to be here.
No, 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 no. Trust me, my face is not any better. Trust me, we're good. We're good. The only thing I might have a little bit more hair. That's it.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
That's the only thing. But no, and I remember at the time, what as obviously you mentioned, life, everything kind of gets in the way, which is normal. But at the time, there was John as well. John, who was
yeah.
writing on Mundo. Obviously, cannot forget John.
Steve
So
and
he
John,
was,
obviously,
yeah, he was
obviously,
he was helping out on Mundo, and then with
and
time
he
as
was,
well. Yeah,
yeah, he was also doing some basketball coverage, hockey, all different sports.
everything.
That yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Everything,
Um,
and that's kind of what made, and that's kind of what made, and what I'm kind of sad about, because I honestly I don't have the time, but that's what made Mundo, right? Like the world,
yeah,
like Argentine world, it wasn't just football or soccer, it was basketball, like you mentioned, it was hockey, it was field hockey. I remember the women's
yeah,
field
yeah,
hockey, everything we had. It was really like John was running, he was contributing a lot to football, but John was really running the everything else section as well,
yeah,
which got a lot of a lot of
yeah,
comments and a lot of readers. But unfortunately, John is still with us. It's not that, but the
yeah.
time factor and everything. It's
Yeah, he
difficult.
must
It's
be
difficult.
sleeping now, or maybe he's in a different day. He's
Yeah,
always in
well,
tomorrow. Every time I look at the time, I said, "Oh, John is in tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him about the future
he's
because, you know,
he's 12 hours ahead. So for those listening or for those watching or listening, John is from Malaysia. So
yeah,
I'm based in Canada. Seba's in Argentina, John's in Malaysia, and then we had a fourth person who joined, which was Ziggy, and Ziggy's from Lebanon. So we have like four different time zones almost. Although me and Seba, I think we're pretty close, 1 hour difference, but four different time zones, and it was crazy. And Ziggy joined. I think right before the 2010 World Cup, and he helped revamp the
yeah."
website.
He's like the
So
wizard. He gave us a boost with the
yeah,
website. He changed it dramatically, and it was amazing because we moved into a different era with his help and his knowledge. So yeah, he's like a family. Like it's pretty spread. We are more spread than my real family, which is also very spread. But but yeah, we are always united by the national
yeah,
team, Argentina, our passion, our favorite team, and obviously it would have helped if the team played regularly as like a club.
yeah,
We that doesn't help in terms of editorially doesn't help because there isn't always that big an interest when you are 3 months away from the next game, and then you play two games in quick succession, and then everybody goes back to their clubs. But we did also a lot of following the Argentine players playing in Europe in the biggest clubs, and a lot of content about around that our readers always want to hear and know about. And there are readers, they're amazing. I mean, They share with
Oh
us
yeah.
some content as well. They send me stuff from Bangladesh, people celebrating in the streets, people in India preparing for the World Cup, everybody with an Argentine flag.
'Cause-
And to me, being from Argentina, not having a previous experience of and knowing these things were happening, to me it was really eye opening. It was an eye opener experience for me because um, you don't know these things, and then people who read your stuff, follow the website that you created a long time ago, allow you to experience these things and share their content with us, and that's really humbling. I mean, to me, it was like it helped me realize the impact and the dimension that this shirt has
yeah.
in the world. It's not just our country. We have more fans in Bangladesh than we do in Argentina. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well, there's
It's
also the
math. Yeah,
population as well.
of course, but
But
you have to
yeah, no,
consider it.
it's
India,
yeah,
Bangladesh, they have like 10 times, not 10, maybe more times
yeah,
more fans than
the population.
Argentina has in Argentina. It's crazy, but it is like that.
And
Yeah.
I realized that when I first, well, now even when I first joined Mundo, but even when I was just a just a reader, right? And I wouldn't even contribute. I would just read, and I'd see, oh, comment from United States, comment from Argentina, comment from Europe, somewhere from Europe, comment from India, Bangladesh. I'm like, what? So wait, and this is for me. It was, it was different. But
Yeah.
then when I joined the team, when I joined Mundo, and that's for me when I saw, okay, wow, we really get
Yeah.
like there are fans like you
Yeah.
mentioned, say, but there are fans everywhere, all around the world, and it's
Mhm.
they say they call football the beautiful game, and it does unite you, it does unite us, and Argentina's united a lot of people. Uh, Unfortunately, these days it's been maybe 27, 28 years, nothing too much to celebrate, but the unity's still there. It's
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah. I think
Oh man.
the only title triumph that we had since Mundo started was the Olympics in Beijing, which I was lucky to be there working. But I was there at the stadium when we beat Nigeria in the final. But it's been too long. We need to maybe we can start talking about what's coming next, the games that we have
Absolutely.
here for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. But we really need something to celebrate. We really need another title. We need to
it's
see these guys with a medal around their necks, and
it's
gold
been the
one
gold medal,
preferably.
the gold one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
been way too
We've
long. We've made three finals, three heartbreaks, 14, 15, 16. Hopefully, we came close 2 years ago in Brazil at the Copa, but things
I think we
happen.
were robbed. Yeah, I think we were
Yeah,
robbed there, but
yeah.
there you go. There you go.
All bias aside, I think we were robbed. Yeah, but
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But I mean, mention what's coming up, and what's coming up for Argentina is, well, we have the World Cup qualifiers and we have the Copa America. But first, it's the World Cup qualifiers. First match is on Thursday, June the 3rd, against Chile in Argentina. So it's going to be a home game, but a home game, obviously no fans because of COVID, unfortunately. And the squad is out. We do have a squad that's out. We have an idea who the starting 11 is, but let's begin. Let's start from the back. Let's absolutely start from the back. And if we're looking at the back, then we have the goalkeepers.
yeah.
And we spoke about this a little bit off air. Everyone's talking about it on Twitter. I made a video about this a couple of days ago. Franco, Armani, Emiliano Martinez. Obviously, you have Juan Musso, Chesina as well, of course. But really, the main two are Armani and Martinez. What's going on, Seba? What do you think? Who should start? What's going on? What's the vibe in Argentina right now?
Yeah, I like when we started from the back. Every great team is built from the back forwards. That's what they say, and
Yeah.
I agree with that. Um, and I have to start by saying I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty happy with the current set of goalkeepers that we have. We've been through a couple of uh, periods in which we didn't have a lot of talent to pick in that position. So now I have to say I'm pretty happy with any decision that Scaloni makes in this sense. I love Juan Musso. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's playing in a team that suffers a lot. I don't think Most of the goals that he suffered are exactly his fault. But it's still, I think he has a lot of upside. I don't have any issues with him not being number one, but if he was to be picked, I'll be happy with that. Emiliano Martinez, I really like. I really like him. He proved himself in one of the most competitive leagues in the world. He had a great season. He showed a lot of resilience by being number one at Arsenal for so many years. Sometimes he wasn't even number two. Um, and then I also love Franco Armani. I think he's a very sober, accomplished goalkeeper. He won two Copa Libertadores with two different teams, and he was like the star of those teams in several games. I do have some doubts over his national team form. He wasn't as safe as he was playing for clubs. I've seen him, like the game against France. That was really really tough, you know. But I'm happy with any of these three goalkeepers, and whoever gets to be
Yeah.
picked, I'll be happy. Obviously I'll support any of them, but I'll be happy with the decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, and you mentioned, it's funny that you mentioned, or it's good that you mentioned Armani versus France, because that was only his second match, right? He won the first match against Nigeria, and then obviously second match against France, who ended up winning the World Cup, obviously Mbappe and everything. And he could and should have done better on maybe one or even two of the goals that he let in against France. And my question to you is that, or the goals that he let in, and again, I'm not saying that's specifically on him. Obviously, there was San Paoli and there was just a lot of problems in general with the team. But was maybe pressure that got to him? And maybe is that the kind of pressure that could get to Martinez if he does play against Chile?
Yeah, could be down to nerves a little bit. I think what happened in France, I put it all down to Sampaoli because you're not supposed to be trying goalkeepers in a World Cup. You go to the World Cup and you stick to one goalkeeper. You must have a tested goalkeeper there. I don't know why he didn't call Sergio Romero. I know he's got a lot of things that people can say against him. He's happy not playing, and the goalkeeper is important that he plays every week. But every time he played for Argentina, he was immense. Um, I don't blame him for that Gotze goal in the final in 2014, and I do give him a lot of credit for helping the team get to that final game. He was great in the semifinals. He was huge throughout the tournament, and he had what Armani didn't in the last World Cup. He had time to be playing there, to adapt, to establish himself. Armani didn't have that, so I don't think you can blame him. And maybe he wasn't used to the ball traveling so fast, being shot by the likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, and well, even Pavard with that legendary goal
Yeah.
that he scored. You can fault him for that. So there's a lot of elements there, and I would like for Scaloni to stick with one goalkeeper. um, Sometimes it's difficult to arrive to a point in which you can be called the Argentina goalkeeper, but then
Mhm.
once you are, I think it's the best thing you could do is to stick with one player, one goalkeeper, and support him no matter what, and that don't change him in between,
Don't
in a tournament.
don't switch. And that's something that you mentioned. Romero had time. Sergio Romero, he had time.
Yeah,
When Willie Caballero, when he was doing very well with Malaga in 2012, 2013, or maybe even 2011. Sabella, God rest his soul, Sabella, he stuck with Romero, even though a lot of people said, no, we want Caballero, we want Caballero. He stuck with Romero and it paid dividends. And now,
yeah,
he has two matches where he kind of pick, and the rumor is that Armani might play one game, Martinez might play the other, and maybe the best of the two might play in the Copa. If it was up to you, Seba, who do you pick?
mhm.
Who starts both matches, or who do you take for the Copa?
Yeah. I will go with Martinez, particularly because he's a bit younger. I don't have their ages right
He's 28.
here.
He's 28, and Armani is 34, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So you have more time. I mean, if you give Martinez the main the start the starting place
Position.
position, yeah, you you have chances of having a goalkeeper for the next 6-7 years, maybe 2 World Cups down the road, and that will be important for him to start getting experience and getting this kind of exposure, right? So I will stick with I'll if it was up to me, I would pick Emi Martinez. And as I said, this is nothing against Armani. I really like Armani, and I will be happy with any of them in the national team.
Yeah, I agree. I side with you, and just there's something very important that you mentioned as well, and we're kind of going back to it. It is the time because if you go with Armani, and nothing against Armani, right? He's. I'll be honest. I think since the World Cup, he's kind of gotten. I'll say he's gotten better for Argentina. I mean, he saved that penalty versus Paraguay at the Copa 2 years ago, so that was very important. So he's shown up when needed to. And obviously the loss against Brazil in the semifinals, that's not on him, that's not his fault. But the situation, if you go with Armani, then you kind of, I won't say but then you're continuing with Armani up until the World Cup next year. And you're wasting potentially another year to 2 years with Martinez, and then Armani is going to be 35. So then, Martinez or Musso or anyone else, any other goalkeepers, going to get their chance after the World Cup in Qatar in 2022. So that is an issue, in my opinion, because you're risking a lot going with Armani, and again, it
Exactly.
might work, and you would be risking a lot going with Martinez because you don't know how Martinez would kind of react to that. But in the long run, I think now plus the long run, I think I agree with you. I think Martinez would be my selection as well. That would be mine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Uh,
We don't want this Martinez to suffer the same fate than the other Martinez, and I'm talking about Lautaro, who wasn't even called. Lautaro should be preparing for his second World Cup and get rid of the nerves and the stage fright or anything that could happen. He should have gone through that experience in Russia in 2018, because we didn't. Let's be honest, we didn't. It's not like we didn't have a lot of players that are better than him. And I
yeah.
remember Sampaoli saying he doesn't have the speed that the other guys playing in Europe already possess. I think that was a big mistake. And now you have a guy going to the World Cup, deservedly so, but he should be getting
In
into
his
the second
second.
experience. Yeah, and that's different. That's remember Maradona. He didn't play in 78. He should have played in 78. When he was 18, he was cut. He was left in the last three spots. One of them was him, and he was cut. Then he went to Spain. He was immature. He
Hmm.
he he was even red carded. We didn't do
Versus Brazil.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he should have. Spain should have been his second World Cup, and then well, Mexico was the third one, and he did
Mexico,
quite well.
third one was the charm.
Yeah, yeah. He did quite
But
well. So yeah.
yeah, but no, but it's a very valid point because even in 2006, for example, Tevez and Messi were still relatively young and they were selected, even though Crespo was there and Saviola and whatnot. But they were selected. That was their first World Cup. They did considerably well, I think. And then you look at 2010, that was obviously the Messi that we saw in 2010 was different from the one in 2014, but you could tell he had that experience and he was still kind of able to deal with the pressure. And Tevez as well. Tevez scored some very important goals for Argentina. Obviously, the two against Mexico, or was it the one or the two against Mexico? I can't. No, two. Sorry, in the round of 16 and everything. So having that experience helps, and the fact that we didn't take Lautaro last time, that could hurt him. But fortunately, Scaloni picked him in 2019, and
Yeah,
he showed up. He played very well and scored a couple of goals,
yeah.
and he has a very good goal scoring record with Argentina.
We'll get to
So we
him. I have a lot of things to say
will
about him. We'll get to him. Yeah.
we'll get to him. But
Yeah,
before we
yeah,
get to
yeah.
him, so we agree on Martinez. But now the other side of this, we gone through the goalkeepers. Now it's the defenders.
Hmm.
So, and again, we are kind of talking about this off air. Do we go with a back three? Do we go with a back five with the two, fullbacks, wing backs? What do you think we're gonna get? Who do you think will play like the fullback? So, I received a question on Twitter, and I'm gonna pull it up right now. And one of the questions said, "Who will be the starting fullbacks for Argentina in your opinion?" So let's
Right.
start with that. I guess let's start with the fullbacks. We have a couple. I'm gonna bring up the list right now.
All
Um,
right.
here we go. So
Yeah. In first, like a concept that I have about Argentina in defense, that's the to me that's the weakest point, the weakest area of the team. I don't think I was looking at France, for example, their squad and the
Hmm.
people that they are leaving out of the Euros, and you really uh, you really think, oh, okay, these guys have at least five central defenders that are among the best in the world, and we don't.
Absolutely.
We really don't. I don't think we don't. I don't think we do have like one central center back that you say, okay, this is a guy
No.
among the top 10 in the world. We don't. So that's to start my opinion on defense. Ha- that said, we do have some elements that are interesting, but the most interesting thing would be the decision by Scaloni on what to do here, because I love 3-5-2. I love how it works, and I think it's seen a new how you call it one. It's in fashion again. It's in fashion again.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
people. There's a lot of teams playing three at the back with two
Fullback. The two.
wing
Yeah. The
backs.
fullbacks or the
Yeah,
wing backs. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah. But do we have enough material to select three central defenders to play there? Do we
That's
do
the
we want to
difficult.
go that
Yeah.
way? Yeah, that's a tough decision that Scaloni has to make. Really love Lisandro Martinez. He wasn't being picked lately. I really love how he's a ball playing defender. I like defenders that can bring it out from the back.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, Otamendi is not that safe in that
No.
in that department, but he provides you with the physicality. He's a bit of a liability every now and then, but his experience, he's been at a World Cup, so maybe he's one that's gonna be picked. I like Juan Foyt. I would like to see him in a long run. Herman Petzela is another defender that I like, but as you can see, these names, none of them you will
There's
pick in an all-time Argentina
like a
team
top
in
10.
defense.
No.
Exactly, exactly, and they're not the envy of other national teams. So I think it's more about the system and more about what we decide and how we gonna play, and then the names come will come after. So yeah, I think that's a decision he has to make. Whether if he picks two of the names that we were mentioning and use two traditional fullbacks in a back four, or whether he goes with three and two more versatile external defenders. And
On the
if
wings.
you want, we can start talking about them. I love Marcos Acuna. I think he gives you. I love him. It's not nothing to
Well,
do
do you
with
want to
my
explain why? Do you
Racing.
want to
Yeah,
explain
yeah,
why to
yeah.
the viewers why you love
No,
Acuna?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Acuna is a player who Racing Club, my team in Argentina, acquired from Ferrocarril Oeste, another team in Argentina, playing in the lower divisions now. He came as a bargain, and all of a sudden he started playing like this top level. He will give you everything that you need in a defender. He would also play in, well, actually for Racing he was playing in midfield, so the crosses that he sent were amazing. He's tough marking, and he's one of the players that defend the ball better than the average. So once he has the ball, it's very difficult to take it away from him. That's why I got to know him early on, and I love him, and I know what he can do. And then he started being played farther down, farther back
Yeah.
on the pitch until he got to a point in which he played left back. He did quite well for Sporting Lisboa, and then he's been playing for Sevilla, and he's been doing great. So I think, and every time he played for Argentina, I think he did a very, very good job. So I like him a lot to be playing in that position because he can give you that option that when you're attacking, he can join the attack and provide assists, provide great crosses,
Yeah.
and win the ball back. And in that sense, I like him more than Tagliafico. Maybe if you play back four, maybe Tagliafico gets
Yeah.
uh, the
Yeah,
how you call it?
he gets
Yeah,
selected ahead. No,
yeah,
he gets selected ahead of Acuna.
yeah,
I agree to a certain extent. I think Acuna moving forward when attacking on the ball, I think he's better or more suited when attacking than Tagliafico. So I agree in that if it's going to be a 3-5-2 with with the five you have him play on the left, I think he's more suited than Tagliafico. I think if it's a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, then I think you go more with maybe Tagliafico as a natural left back, just because defensively, I feel like he's more solid, or I trust him more defensively than Acuna, and nothing against Acuna, right?
of
But
course,
I guess, and this is a good problem to have, and it's a good solution actually, because it's very you have two players that are fairly versatile. If Scaloni decides one game I'm going to play three at the back, then he could start with Acuna on the five, and if it's a four at the back, then he can go with Tagliafico. So it's a good problem to have, and for the first time I think in a long time, I feel safe in that left back position. Marcos Rojo gave me several heart attacks throughout the years. Even though I love
yeah,
him, he gave me several heart attacks, and even
yeah,
before then, what it was Gabriel, I think the
yeah,
and so it's for once we have a solid base, I think, on the left
yeah.
side.
We're not at a point where we were when we had Juan Pizorin. He was like
Yeah,
probably among the best three left
yeah,
back when he was playing in the world. But as you said, I think we have some quality options there. I'm pretty happy with the two options. And then on the right, I think it's a bit behind in terms of quality, but I really like Montiel. I think he's used to be playing in a big club like River, always with a lot of pressure,
hmm,
competing at a high level. He's also a good penalty taker, but he's a winner. He's got a lot of tools. So I
yeah.
really like him as well over there. But then I don't know if we have a lot of depth in that in that
Mm,
position.
no,
Um,
it's I mean, going through the list, the only two real ones that are potentially could get picked are Montiel or Foyth, because
yeah,
Saravia with Internacional, he's injured, or he hasn't been selected at least, so it's really between Montiel and Foyth. Foyth kind of played in that position at at the last Copa, in the last Copa America. He played on the right
yeah,
side. I think he did pretty well. He did solid, but I think that's definitely, I would say that's the weaker of the sides. If we're looking at the left side and right side, I think the right side is weaker than the left. Although Foyth has done pretty well this season with his club, obviously Europa League winner, but just in
mhm,
general in his performance, he's stepped it up, right? He's absolutely stepped it up. The only situation with him is he's not a natural right back. I mean, Acuna is
right.
more of a natural left back than Foyth is as a right back.
Yeah, he's more a central defender. So yeah, I see
Yeah,
your point. I see what you mean. Also, I don't want to forget about Nico. He was like a great surprise back.
yeah.
I remember there was a game. Who was it? Was it against Paraguay in La Bombonera? I think in these
Was it the qualifier this,
qualifiers.
when Sampaoli was there?
I think he was already with Scaloni. Uh, that he had a great game, even scoring a goal. He's coming. He's playing for Stuttgart now, so there's not a lot of eyes on him,
Yeah,
especially in Argentina. And he didn't play for Boca, River, or any of the big five teams because he was playing for Argentinos Juniors, and so he doesn't have a lot of press or a lot of media supporting him and
backing support.
calling.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but he was. I mean, talk about playing better for the national team than for club. I mean, I don't watch him play for Stuttgart every day, but um, what he did for the national team was impressive, and it's good to have him uh, being able to play a couple of different positions. So I would mention him as well because he was a pleasant surprise to most people, and I include myself in that
yeah.
because he was great.
He was great, and that's the thing. I feel like now more than ever we have, or maybe not more than ever, but now more than I suppose previous years, we have defenders that are capable of playing, that are good at a lot of things, but no one that really stands out, like you said. I think that's a big problem. You're missing that. I think Nicholas Otamendi is the leader of that back line, but obviously age has kind of gotten to him, and he was never really the quickest and the fastest, so that obviously plays a factor against him. But I think he's the leader of that back line, but he's obviously regressing. He's not getting better as a player, and that's not a knock on him. Obviously, it's father time
Yeah.
catches up to
I'm
everyone.
trying. I'm trying to think about series, movies where you have a leader that is also a bit of a liability, and you're you're like, okay, okay, I'm following this guy, but are you sure?
I
Are
don't
you
really
sure?
trust him too much, but I follow.
Yeah. Isn't that a grenade that you're having for breakfast? Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah. Although to be fair to Otamendi, he has those matches where he'll play maybe 2-3 matches where he's not the best, and then one match where he completely stands out and he makes like a
Yeah,
some tackle that blocks a goal, saves a goal.
yeah,
But yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm trying
Maybe
to think of one as well.
maybe the viewers can give us examples of
Yes,
leaders
please
that are a
leave
bit of a loose cannon.
leave
Maybe
a
I don't
comment
know the
down.
Expendables.
Maybe leave a
Yeah,
comment if you have
yeah,
anyone that comes to mind.
please.
So those are the so let's go with this. If it's a back three,
Yeah.
who are your three center backs?
Oh, you're putting me in a tough
I'm putting you on the
spot here.
spot. I'm
Yeah,
putting you
yeah,
on the
yeah.
spot. If it's a
I'm going
back
with
three,
yeah. I would like to see Lisandro, especially to help in bringing the ball in a clear
and bringing the
way.
ball out.
Yeah, bring the ball up
Yeah.
from there. Petzela, I like. He's very serious. He's got a perfect age to start owning that spot there, and then Otamendi for to complement with his experience and with his commanding voice to
Mhm.
support the other two guys who are uh, who don't have uh, 15
Too much
10 game
experience.
20 games for the national team, and he does.
Yeah.
So I will go with them, but then I don't know how Juan Foyt is physically. I also like Marco Senesi, but he's not being called up.
Yeah. From
I
Feyenoord.
think he's very versatile. Yeah, Feyenoord, former San Lorenzo. Maybe down the road he can be called up.
There,
But
there
of the
was
current,
sorry, not to cut you off, but there was someone
yeah,
that did not make this list that I'm actually a fan of, and I became a fan of Gremio, Walter Kahneman.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
hasn't been selected. I don't know if it's the protocols in Brazil. I don't know if it's COVID, but he was previously getting selected by Scaloni, and if I'm not mistaken, he even played in the Copa last time, and he started. And he has the height. He's not necessarily the fastest, but he has the height and the physicality. But in this time around, no one outside of Argentina has been selected for the qualifiers or for the Copa.
Yeah, I'm also curious about Palomino. We haven't seen him, but he plays in a very, very good team.
Yeah,
Atalanta. He's been really solid the last couple of seasons
he
for
he
Atalanta.
is
So
selected. He is selected.
I know he
Yeah.
is. So that's why I was thinking, okay, what if he surprises us? And
Hmm.
also Martinez Cuarta. We have they're very similar in terms of level.
Yeah.
You don't see it's not like
No one
Messi
stands out a
and the
little
rest.
bit more.
Of course, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So um, I think that's one of the most difficult calls that Scaloni has to make right now
Yeah.
and for Copa. Who are my defenders? Who are the guys that I'm going to war with?
Hmm.
And he can pick any of those. Actually, I think there's, if anything, there's going to be a lot of internal competition for places, and that's always healthy for a
Always a
team.
good thing. Yeah, no, definitely always a good thing. So your three are Pesela, Lisandro, and Otamendi.
Yeah, yeah, they
Okay.
are right now.
Uh, I would go with the same three. If I had to remove one of them, maybe Martinez Cuarta Pesela, possibly.
All right,
But
all
I'll
right.
go with Pesela, Martinez Cuarta. Sorry, Pesela, Otamendi, and Lisandro. Although Otamendi is suspended for the first match versus Chile, which could be a good thing,
Yeah,
defending. So I think
yeah.
that three for me, anyways, would be Pesela, Cuarta, and Lisandro.
All right, I'll go with
And
those three too. I didn't have in mind that Otamendi was suspended. I'm not
yeah.
surprised he is, but I should have known. But yeah, I think we agree with that, and
and
let's see how it goes.
let's see. And if it's a back four, who do you go with? Now I'm putting you on the
If
spot
it's
again.
if it's two, yeah, if it's two, I go with Otamendi and Petzela, especially because they've been playing. They already played together. I will go with them and leave the experiment of Lisandro or a ball playing defender for another time. I really don't know what Scaloni is gonna do, and it's just waiting and seeing. And it's a rumor that he could go that way with three at the back, but then he will have a problem removing a piece from midfield or the forward line. So it conditions you if you go with three at the back
It
in
does,
that sense.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm guessing left back, you're going with Tagliafico instead of Acuna in the back four?
In a back four, yeah, but I will put Acuna as a midfielder then.
Okay. Well, we're
Yeah,
going to get to the midfield. We're going to get to the midfield. And on the right side, are we going with Foyt or are we going with Montiel?
Montiel, because he's a
Montiel?
natural. Yeah, he's a natural right back, and he's He's been playing really, really great for River. Yeah,
Okay, that's fair. So that's your back. So your back four is Tagliafico as left back. We're gonna put Acuna in midfield. So
yeah.
Tagliafico as left back. You said Pesela and who
Otamendi.
was the other one? Otamendi.
Sorry, Otamendi is suspended,
Otamendi
so
suspended.
we have to. Yeah, so there then I will go with Martinez Cuarta. They know each other
Martinez
from
Cuarta.
River.
And from
I'm
Fiorentina.
also. Yeah, that too. I'm it's like I'm a River fan now. Yeah, I'm not, but you
You're
have
not. You're
Montiel.
wrestling fan.
Yeah, no, I am. But yeah, three River players, or they used
Yeah.
to play the three of them together. So that's another pro there because they
Yeah.
know each other.
And that helps. That experience helps a lot. That chemistry, when you have it
Yeah,
already built or some of it built, it's definitely a factor, especially now when the team hasn't necessarily played or trained in about
yeah,
8 months together since
yeah.
October, November or so. So absolutely. So Tagliafico, Pesela, Cuarta, Montiel.
Yep.
So
If
we
they are
agree on
good to
something
go, yeah,
again.
yeah,
Okay, excellent,
fantastic.
excellent. Perfect. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Seba? Bring the goalkeeper or the back line?
No, in that sense, I think we spoke about the different options, the different
Yeah.
systems, what
Would
to
you
do,
would you
what
be
not to
comfortable
do.
with that back four?
Yeah, I can see all things considered. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's competitive. I think it's got a good combination. These are all very brave guys, talented.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. Yeah, I
Excellent.
um, I like them all. I like how they behave when they're on possession, in possession, and they're also reliable when it comes to defending. They're good in the air. The two center backs, so
Yeah.
pretty confident with them. Yeah,
Excellent. Perfect. Well, that makes two of us. All right. So this concludes part one of three. So this was the goalkeepers and defenders. We have the midfield video coming up as well as the strikers. So thank you for joining us for part one. My name is Royer. I'm with Sebastian Garcia. Thank you for joining. And as well as we used to say on the older podcasts, vamos Argentina.
vamos. And leave
Thank
your comments. Also, give us your
Yes.
your choices for
Absolutely.
back four, whether you prefer line of three, and the names, of course.
Absolutely. See,
All
Seba, you should be the
opinions are
host. You're
welcome.
doing a much better job than I am right now. But
And
definitely
don't forget to
leave a comment.
subscribe. You know what they do? They do it like,
Like and
oh, if you
subscribe.
like it, yeah,
Absolutely, but definitely
yeah.
like, subscribe, leave a comment. We love the comments. We love reading them. It's what makes Mundo what it is. It's the interaction with you guys. So
Yeah,
leave a comment what you guys think, and we'll read them in the next couple of videos. All right. So thank
fantastic.
you for joining us, part one, and part two coming right up. Thank you, guys.